Hello and welcome back to Tim Roddy Rides Motorbikes, YouTube's #1 channel of motorcycle proctology or something. But anyway, hopefully you are nothing like me in most bits of your life, because otherwise you'd be a bald, sweaty man in the middle of a forest. However, hopefully you are like me in one way, and that is that you want to go out and explore green lanes, and yet you're slightly on edge about buying an expensive motorbike on the off chance that you might like muddy rutting. So yeah, today I've got the Sinnis SM-XE 125, which is a £3,000 125cc bike that is designed to do green lanes and to do them reasonably properly. So I'm going to take it for a ride up and down some of my local lanes, go out on the road a little bit and find out if it's any good. It's new for 2022, and is it any, I can't think of a rhyme, is it poo? Sorry, my 3-year-old's taking over scripting. Yes, here it is, the SM-XE 125. Bit of S&M in the woods. Probably not the first time this lay-by has seen something like that. But anyway, this is an enduro-style bike from Chinese brand Sinnis. But it's got a few cool things about it. For a start, it's got a proper 21-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear. It's got a single 290mm disc at the front. It looks like an enduro bike. However, it's powered by a single-cylinder 4-stroke 125, which is Sinnis's most powerful yet. Apparently it's got 14.8 bhp. 14.8, I know, gird your loins at that. But anyway, like all Sinnis's, it's got a 2-year warranty. The second year is parts only, and it only comes in one colourway, and that is this white and forest green, which I think is quite tasteful. It doesn't quite match this forest, but yeah, there we go. We've not had any rain for about 1,000 years. It costs £3,399, weighs 140 kilos, and it's got a 6.5 litre fuel tank. It's got a 54mm upside down fork. Is that 54mm? Looks a bit skinnier to me than 54mm, but whatever. It's got quite a high seat on it. It's 885mm off the ground. I'll stick the inches for that in there. And yeah, when you look at the seat, it does look quite cheap, to be honest. But would you go into Poundland and complain there's no caviar? But it's fine for what this is meant to do, which is going off-road and exploring lanes. It's got ABS front and rear, which is quite good for the price, I guess. Let's look at the tech. Are you ready? There's no 6-axis IMU here, but there is a little screen there, and I'm not sure if you can see that. It's got a fuel gauge. It's got a fuel gauge. It's got a rev counter. It's got a gear indicator as well. There you go. I put it into first. Tells you the gear up there. It's got a clock, and you can scroll through a few bits and bobs here. I mean, that's it. That's your lot. It's got fairly cheap feeling controls, but guess what? It's a fairly cheap bike. It's a really cheap bike. I would say the clutch lever does move up and down by about 2 centimeters, which isn't the most reassuring thing when you get on it. But actually, when you're standing on the pegs, I guess it's ergonomic. It adjusts to your hand or something. But anyway, let's take it for a ride. I should show you the headlight actually, because it does look modern. It's got these daytime running lights. It's got this little light signature on the front, which is really quite cool. But yeah, that's it. It is a simple, affordable off-roady package. I'm not an expert off-road rider, but I'm going to go and tackle some of my local green lanes that I wouldn't do on my big heavy KTM. So let's go. Right, let's see what the SM-XE is like to ride. One thing I didn't mention in a little walk around is the tyres. The brand is Timson. But anyway, it does start with a key, and it fires into life with a bit of a poppy pop. It sounds a little bit go-kartish, to be honest. But yeah, Sinnis's most powerful 125 single to date. Does it feel it? Oh, no, it doesn't. It feels like it's got 15 horsepower. But anyway, let's go for a joyride. And when I say joyride, I mean a fully insured legal ride responsibly on UK green lanes. Anyway, I'm not very good at off-road riding, as I said. I've done a bit, been down here before on an organised off-road day, but I'm instantly feeling at home on this. I kind of nipped up and down here just before I started filming, so I wasn't completely cold going into this, and the confidence I got on this straight away was really impressive at tackling puddles. There's nothing too serious down here yet. It's just a bit slippery because it's been raining. Look, there's a big puddle. Should we go through it? Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, I'm in third gear already, and I'm only doing 20 miles an hour. It's not a fast bike, but did we really expect that? 140 kilos isn't exactly featherweight for a 125 enduro-style bike. I'll see if you went for a KTM or something that costs 3 times as much as this bike, you'd get more power, nicer components. But I have to say, the last Sinnis I rode on the channel was that Terrain 125, which was a bit cheaper than this and had a lot more to it. It was an adventure style bike, and you kind of sense that the extra money this costs for less bike has been just spent on things like the suspension. The suspension feels pretty good, to be honest. It feels a lot more in control than it did on that Terrain 125. It's just a plusher ride. Obviously the seat is nothing to write home about. It's not really a sort of bike where you're expecting it to have a really plush seat. I'm having so much fun at about 2 miles an hour. Yeah, I had to ride about 5-10 miles to get here on the road, and my bum was already going numb from the seat by the time I got here, but so what? It's clearly an afterthought. It's an off-road bike. But yeah, I mean, obviously I am setting no land speed records down here. I'm not even doing 20 miles an hour. I haven't even got my adventure helmet with a peak on it for getting rid of pesky branches and things like that. But I feel confident on it. I feel confident enough to go and explore. First gear is, well, yeah, second gear. God, I thought it was first. But yeah, you do get through the gears quickly, and on the road you'll be doing 30 miles an hour in 5th gear. Right, can't remember where I'm going. That's a private road. Don't think I meant to go up there. I think it's down here. But yeah, like, first impressions of this bike off-road are, it's nothing exotic, it's nothing special, but it feels like a tool for doing the job of having occasional larks off-road. Now that winter is on the way, in autumn, I kind of fancy something like this, really, for exploring these lanes. Right, I think I'm meant to go, I was meant to go straight for a bit. This is the problem with green laning. You've got to check your OS maps and then council websites, etc, etc. I know these ones are closed to 4-wheelers, but this should drop down into the village of Shear, which is very beautiful. But anyway, yeah, so first gear, you're out of first gear by 5 miles an hour, and it does rev out to about 10,000 RPM. Can I get the ABS to kick in? Yeah, the ABS kicks in on the back, and so far as I can tell, there is no way to disable the rear ABS, which is not ideal for a bike that's pitched at going off-road. You would want to be able to turn it off to do dank skids. There might be a way to do it, I haven't fiddled around enough, and there's not exactly loads of controls to learn on it. Yeah, I like this. I mean, I wouldn't be wanting to go much faster down here anyway. You just have to work the gears. And I'm a tall bloke. Standing up on this feels really natural, and it responds well to weighting the pegs. Yeah, it's as easy as any other 125 to ride as well. The clutch is super light. The throttle's actually got a bit of weight to it as well, so you're not going to accidentally rev the nuts off it without meaning to. And the back brake is nice and sharp as well, until you hit the ABS. Oh yeah, I remember coming down here. What about front ABS? I can lock the front up. I'm not sure the front ABS is working. Oh, I keep thinking I'm stopping in first, I'm stopping in third. Yeah, you've got idiot lights, you've got all the usual stuff. Indicators, ABS warning light up there, and a horn. What more motorbike do you really need? A gearbox is a bit clunky, but this bike's not got many miles on it. And I mean clunky because obviously there's no quick shifter. So if you're standing up, doing clutchless upshifts, you can do them, but they go in with a bit of a thunk, to be honest. And there you go, second to third, that's alright. Now obviously I can't really talk about one of the more important things with off-road bikes, how well it crashes, because I'm not going to deliberately bin it. But I imagine, being a Sinnis Chinese made bike, if you can get the parts, they won't be very expensive. It's just whether you can get them easily or not. And I know, before anyone says in the comments, that £3,300 isn't complete chump change for a motorbike. If you went to the second-hand market, you could almost certainly pick up a higher spec enduro bike that's 10 years old or something like that. I guess this really is for people who want something with a warranty. Right, we'll get back to doing some more of the lanes, but first let's take this out onto the public road, because it is road legal. I've got mirrors, I've got headlights, I've got tail light, I've got a number plate as well. and that's 30 miles an hour, up to 4th, up to 5th, up into 6th. It has got a 6th gear at 30 miles an hour. It's doing about 6,000 RPM in 6th gear, and yeah, I've had it up to kind of 50, but I don't really want to go much faster than that, simply because these knobbly tyres it's on, when you turn it in, it does feel like you're going to fall off the side of the world, but that's just a knobbly tyre problem. That's nothing to do with the bike, really. I have to say, I wouldn't really be able to notice the difference with an expensive set of knobblies on this bike, I don't think. Hasn't got the power, I don't have the skill to really make much of a difference. Whereas the giant wooden dinosaur, it's the sort of people you'll be pulling if you get one of these. No, it'll be other men on green lane saying, that looks affordable. Yeah, so on the road, these tyres, also above 40, you do get a bit howl off them, but nothing awful. Right, I'm going to get to accelerate up to 60 miles an hour for a little bit here. Should we see if we can make 60 miles an hour before I have to turn off? Right, I'm going to do 30 up to the sign because I'm considerate like that. Got lap timer on here as well. Excellent. How useful. Right. 4th gear. 40 miles an hour. 50 miles an hour. I'm turning off in a second. Will I make 60? No. That looks like one of those Spectre Defenders. Front brakes are not working very well. They are not brilliant. You have to use the back brake as well if you want a chance of stopping. Yeah, I mean, for off-roading you don't really use the front brake much, do you? And if you do, you want it to be reasonably soft, but yeah, you won't be stopping in a hurry on the road on this. I will say that is kind of one of the biggest weaknesses of this bike, and it kind of was with the Terrain 125 as well. Despite the fact it's got reasonably large 290mm front disc on this, stopping power is about the same as a block of jelly versus a shotgun slug. But yes, pretty village. This village is called Sheer. There's a really good ice cream shop in it called Sheer Delights. The pun always makes me laugh a bit. Right, can I find the start of my next byway? Going back up into the hills. Up a really steep bit actually. When I rode it last year, it was quite nadgery and quite tricky. We came down it, I'm going up it, so I always think going up is easier. Right, where does it start? I think it was just in here. Just in here? Justin Hawkins. Yes, I think this is it. Alright. Okay, I don't think they have done much to this because, oh yeah, it is muddy and slippery. I'm just going to open my visor and tilt my camera back because I'm going to need to stand up. But yeah, I'm just in second, yeah. Bumbling up here. I think you need to be quite accurate with your steering up here because it does get a bit slippery. You have to just commit to ruts and things like that. I mean, I'm not making it sound really extreme. It's not, and nor am I. There's a little bridge here. I remember it gets a bit slippery under the bridge. Wait the pegs. Oh yeah, I'm off-roading. I try not to sit down. I can't really see the floor. Oh yeah, it's really rutted under the bridge. Stand up. Yeah, got a bit gnarly with some roots and bits there. Feet on the pegs. Don't want to break my ankles. Yeah, this is rutted. I just need to keep going. This isn't my favourite, hence I'm sitting down. I don't mind ruts, but I hate it when the alternative to being in a rut is never getting back out. This is definitely steeper than it looks. I'm not entirely in control. Right, let's go middle. Yeah, standing up definitely does feel better, but it's just overcoming the phobia of doing it. Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to do that on my KTM. We're up. Thank you, Sinnis SM-XE. No, SM-XE. S&M, that's the way to remember it. SM-XE 125. You are a really enjoyable little bike for low commitment financially, dicking around on places I wouldn't ordinarily go. There's probably an acronym for that, but I can't be bothered to think of it. There's a pillbox from World War II. Whoa! 125 life. I'm full throttle in 4th gear, staying at a steady 30 miles an hour up the hill. Oh, we're speeding up. Right, let's talk about some of the negatives of this bike. Obviously it does feel cheaply made. There's no getting around that. The controls feel pretty cheap, but do you know what, when you're riding it, you just don't really notice that the clutch lever is a bit wonky or any of that kind of stuff. It's just absolutely fine. Ooh. It feels like they have spent the money on the suspension, to be honest, which is probably the right thing for an affordable green laning sort of bike. It just feels well controlled, and even on the road it's compliant, it's not crashy. Obviously it's not heavy in the overall scheme of bikes, so that shouldn't be a problem. The brakes are pretty terrible. The front brakes, the back brake's stronger than the front brake, which, you know, off-road bike things, but again, for road riding I would have wanted a stronger front brake, maybe twin discs, but then the price would go up, etc, etc. It's slow, it's a 125. It's only got 15 horsepower, it's not going to pull your foreskin back. It's or whatever your lady part equivalents are, I don't know, I've never seen a lady naked. It's kind of agreeable. Once you're off-road, I would say you don't care, it's only 125. If you're my skill level on these sorts of trails, bimbling around, it doesn't really give you enough motion potion to start skidding it around or sliding it on the power and thing like that. It's just plenty for off-roadiness and nothing more really. It's not an expert level off-road bike, clearly. It does make a bit of a din at the top of the rev range. You just hear that engine, and that feels a bit antisocial, but the exhaust itself isn't loud. But yeah, it's really nice between your legs. It just feels flickable, and you just get used to steering with the pegs, and it feels really natural. There's no slack in it really. Goes where you want it to. I mean, honestly, that's it. That is it for the negatives. Accept it for what it is, and it's quite a focused thing. It's purely designed for doing kind of what I'm doing right now, doddering at an amateur's pace on green lanes. And to be honest, I'm quite heavy as well. Like, I'm pretty much 97 kilos, so I'm a big old unit. I'm almost doubling the weight of the bike, and it's just shrugging me off. Not shrugging me off literally, or tossing me off, but yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, I wish you could turn the rear ABS off. There probably is a way, I haven't discovered it. Maybe it's pulling a fuse, maybe it's pressing one of the buttons on the dash, I don't know, but I not needed it today, to be honest. This is fun. I wish I had my peaked helmet. I'm getting slapped in the face by God's photosynthetic pores. This is a hoot. I realise I'm really stiff, by the way. You don't need to comment on how stiff I am. I mean arms and legs, not genitally. Puddle. Okay, bottom the suspension out there. There is a limit to being a fat boy. Right, I'm kind of thirsty now, but luckily for me, there's a pub at the end of this green lane, completely inaccessible unless you've got an off-road bike. Sorry, doggy. I say completely inaccessible. This green lane just happens to end at a pub. There's also a road, but anyway, the reason I like bikes like this, and I've said this before on the channel, is that you can just get out and explore. There's fields of barley. There's a beautiful view there, actually. I don't know if you can see that. That's Box Hill, Denby's Vineyard. Oh, stunning, this part of the world. I feel very lucky to live here, and also very lucky to have borrowed this bike to get out and explore. Yeah, I wish I had more storage space, because I'd absolutely have a bike like this in my collection. I've got a big adventure bike for doing road stuff, big KTM 1290 Super Adventure S, which is fantastic, and I brought it down this green lane and it was absolutely fine. There is one little bit up here which has tripped my bike up, and another 125 I brought up here, and that's because it's sandy up here. It does get really sandy, and it's only about 10-20 meters of sand, but the front always tucks and it always just feels a bit ugh. But I've not been through it on a bike with a proper 21-inch wheel yet, so I'm interested to see what these knobblies and these that big front wheel feels like through the sand. It's just fun. It's just fun. It's just fun. It's not serious. It's not competition level. It's not men in muddy motocross jerseys tutting and sucking air between their teeth while putting tyre mousses in their KTMs. It's just fun. I don't want to be one of those people, frankly. Alright, here we go. The sandy bit. It feels alright. It feels fine, actually. Yeah, you feel the back slithering about a bit, but absolutely no front end tuckage whatsoever. Pure confidence. That's what you want. Wow! That's a bit of a Greg Wallace wow, wasn't it? Wow, what an honour. Pub. Third gear gone. So yeah, I'm going to end this here. If you want me to answer some more questions about this, leave them in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. And I'll hopefully see you next time if I don't fall off and break my neck in the next 5 minutes on the way back home. Woo! It is slithery. There's so many flints and things up here. Bye! Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, what a cool thing. Oh, good. It's getting steeper. Can't stop though. Mustn't stop. Yeah! Yeah, fine. That was steep. That was steep and a bit natchery, but we did it. Let's do a puddle to celebrate. I'm wet. Happy, happy days. Shall I have a quick look at it, see how muddy it is? Ta-da! Cool thing. A bit knackered now.